Hi Gary, how you doing? Okay, I've got your work up, and I just want to I want to start from the beginning here because I think there's some misconceptions regarding the intent of the project here and where we're headed. And please forgive me, I've got some workers right outside my window here in my studio. So if it gets loud, I'll pause this tape for a second and or pause this video for a second, and we'll just continue from there. Okay, so the first thing I want to mention is that if we go back to M1 task 2, you've got your creative brief, which you indicated the client that you're going to be representing. Okay, then we go to M2 task 1, and we go to the word list. Now, as you can see in the word list, we're asking for 20 words, but not just 20 words. We're asking for 10 words that describe the subjective traits and 10 words that describe the objective qualities. Okay, so that's 10 words each, 10 for subjective traits, 10 for objective qualities. If we go to your word list here, we don't have those delineated into those categories. We just have 20 words. Okay, now I mentioned this in my response to your M2 task 1, right down here. I said that Guardian Network, so it's not enough to choose 20 words to describe your client. You need to delineate into 10 words that describe abstract subjective traits and 10 words that describe your objective qualities. And then I went on to describe how objective traits and subjective qualities would be applied to a company like Nike, just to give you a good example of how those words would work. Okay, so let's move on to those are your words. Now, if we move to your thumbnails, now taking those comments into consideration, we move to your thumbnails, and we see that, oh, hold on one second. Okay, as I was saying, now as we move to the thumbnails for M2 task 2, what we have is we have 40 sketches. Okay, so we take your 20 words and we sketch each word as a pictorial representation of that word. Okay, one for each of the 20 words. Then we go back and we take each of those 20 words and we sketch an abstract representation of those words. Okay, that it would equal 40 sketches, where I see right here you've only got 20 sketches. Okay, and again, I mentioned that in my feedback for that particular M2 task 2 assignment. So then what we would do from there is we would select the 2 best sketches and we would move those into the digital rendering stage. And now remember, this isn't just making a logo. This isn't just saying, okay, this is my company, I'm going to create a logo. This is actually studying and exploring the objectives and subjective traits of your client in order to explore and develop a visual representation of that client. So we're not just saying, okay, here's a logo for my client. We're really, really digging deep and trying to find some other more meaningful aspects that the client has to offer that we can use in representing that client in a visual way. Okay, so in your sketches, okay, so the sketches now, you've only got 20. So you would need to give 20 more sketches and to delineate those sketches as to which ones are pictorial and which ones are abstract. Okay, now moving on to M2 task 3, I'm just going to jump over to M2 task 3 so we can take a look at the project requirements here. This is sketch development, where we're moving into the digital rendering using Adobe Illustrator. So the specifications here are to submit 2 sketches, okay? So that would be 1 pictorial and 1 abstract representation. So out of those 40 sketches, you would pick you would pick the best pictorial representation and the best abstract representation, and then you would move those into a digital sketch of that representation. What you've done here is you've gone straight into saying, okay, here's my final logo. Okay, so that is what we don't want to do. You don't want to add text yet at all, because that's not what we're talking about. Spelling error on the word protection. Also, so you're just taking your 2 best sketches, abstract and pictorial, and you're digitally rendering those. Okay, so it's not a finished logo by any stretch, all right? Now, as far as this goes, you have Guardian Protection, but the name of the company is Guardian Network Security. Okay, so I'll tell you what this is pointing to, Gary. This is really pointing to the fact that you're just not spending a whole lot of time looking over the overviews, descriptions, and project objectives. So I would really like you to start paying attention to submission specifications, steps for success, and the overview and description of each of these tasks. Okay, so at this point, what I would like you to do is I would like you to go back and take your sketches and find a visual representation. You can use the lock, that's fine, but also find this would be your pictorial representation of Guardian. Get rid of the type, okay, and then select one of your sketches and move that into an abstract digital rendering using Adobe Illustrator. Okay, it's really important that you follow these guidelines because this would indicate success for the project. Right now, we're not showing success for this project because we're just not following the project specifications verbatim. Okay, if you have any questions, please let me know. I mean, we can talk on the phone. I can explain this to you in person. It's just really super important for the success of the class and success of the project that you follow these specific objectives, as I said, verbatim. Okay, so at this point, I've asked you to resubmit for your word lists. I've asked you to resubmit for your sketches, and I think that this is important. You need to resubmit for this. So if you resubmit, we'll go ahead and take a look at everything from the top, and we'll take it from there. Okay. Again, any questions, comments, concerns whatsoever, or if you need anything clarified, please let me know. Thank you.